So good morning, everybody. It's really a pleasure to be here and to see everyone here. I'd like to welcome you all, as Paul and Charles have, to the first annual IP Cafe on behalf of the Dean, the faculty, the staff, and of course the students of UNH Law. It's kind of hard to follow two such excellent students who have set such a nice, formal, expectant tone for today's event. But I wanted to take a moment to tell all of you a little bit about the Franklin Pierce Center for Intellectual Property, for which I have been entrusted the responsibility of being the first director. I think as everyone here is either a student, an alum, an adjunct, a friend, a potential adjunct, and a trustee. Hi, Jason. And Jason is a professor at Vermont Law, who's an alum of the school, alum and good friend of mine as well as the school's, as I'm sure many of you in the audience are. So I'm just going to wave hello to everyone and hope to catch up with you at lunch for the networking reception. But if we talk about the Franklin Pierce Center for Intellectual Property, I think the first point I want to make is that the center could not have come about without all of you, alums and current students. Because as we all know, the Franklin Pierce brand has been synonymous with IP and global IP education for over 35 years. And as I think everybody also knows, just last week, the latest version of the dreaded US News rankings came out, at which we were ranked as UNH Law at number 4. So the Franklin Pierce Center for Intellectual Property has some large shoes to fill, a reputation to maintain, and a real challenge that I personally relish as the first director, and that I hope that all of you will help me and join me in our mission to remain the preeminent provider of legal education for the 21st century globally. And when I say global, and when all of us say global, we mean it and we can prove it. Just looking around this room today, for example, all the students from various jurisdictions, all of you with different expectations and expertise, with our friends, with your professors, we're here for a reason. We're here to demonstrate our commitment and our passion to intellectual property, both in its practice and its education. And I think today's IP Cafe is a real testament to that. So hopefully we will have lots of lively debate, lots of good discussion, and of course, lots of good networking opportunities throughout the course of the day. But I said I was going to tell you a little bit about the center. And first, the obvious physical structure, which you see going up in that parking lot. And I should apologize for all the inconveniences that has caused and will cause for the next few months. But if you've seen the structure going up, I think what you see is obviously a very exciting new opportunity for Franklin Pierce, for UNH Law, and for all of us. So obviously at this point you're all saying, well, what's the center going to do besides have swanky new offices and classrooms? Well, we're going to do a bunch of things. But I think the one thing that we are going to do is to preserve and to harness the reputation and the tradition that was and is Franklin Pierce. And we're going to do this through a number of things. I think the first thing that's probably of most relevance to the students is that we are going to continue and partner with the library, the faculty, and all the existing curricular programs that we have to make the legal education that we provide at this law school relevant, cutting edge, and particularly to be at the forefront of what we can consider to be innovative IP education. As you know, we've always had probably some of the more progressive curricular offerings amongst all IP law schools. The aim of the school, the dean, and the center is to continue that tradition. That's why I said I'm always on the lookout for potential adjuncts who can offer new and exciting curricular offerings to our students. So that's really important to us. And what the center will do in this respect is obviously host conferences, scholarly symposia, events, as well as invite visiting researchers and visiting lecturers from all across the world who can provide their expertise both academically as well as in the classroom. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to engage in what we call applied research. Now this school has been quite interesting, it has an interesting history. We're an academic school and we do scholarship, where we also produce some really good lawyers out of the box who are practice ready. So we felt at the center that what we should be doing is positioning the research projects that we do right at that epicenter. And I'll just give you an example. We have the International Technology Transfer Institute that some of you are familiar with. We've got grants from the Institute, and there are lots of live projects that some of you are working on that are positioned in various developing countries where we work with university tech transfer offices, sponsoring governments, to develop what we call implementable solutions to real-world IP problems. That's the kind of applied research that the center would like to do, that we're already starting to do, and I'd like to invite all of you to join in, whether you're students or former students or guests and friends of ours, because we think that's really, really important. As you know, I think we all share this idea that intellectual property isn't just something that's in the clouds, isn't just something that's real every day as we go to work, but it's really important in terms of harnessing technology and innovation, both from the developed and the developing world, for the advancement of progress of science and the useful arts. As those of you in my classes know what I keep saying over and over again. So the last thing, or the third thing that the center is going to do to pretty much propagate all of these objectives is to continue to partner with leading global institutions, sponsors, and friends. And in that regard, we already have quite a number. We have partners in terms of universities in China and Asia, in Latin America, and in Europe. And we think that the center can be a home for all of our existing programs, as well as all of the exciting new initiatives that hopefully I will begin to launch even before that building goes up. So on that note, I hope that I've told you a little bit and gotten you a little bit excited about the next phase in this school's development. Again, we want to be the preeminent global IP law school. We're not happy to be number 4. We're not happy to be behind Berkeley, Stanford, and GW. Glorious those schools are. We think ours is even more so. So today seems to be a good occasion to celebrate that, and I hope that the next installment of the IP Cafe will be at the new building, because I do intend to continue working very closely with all the student organizations here, all of you individually. And on that note, I'd like to wish you all a very happy and productive day. Thanks very much.